It was the summer of 1997, a time of warm evenings and endless adventures. My family had just moved into a new house, nestled at the edge of a quiet, tree-lined street. At 12 years old, I was eager to make memories in our new home. And what better way to start than with a sleepover? Emily and Stephanie, my closest friends, arrived just as the sun dipped below the horizon. My mom greeted them with warm smiles and a plate of gooey chocolate chip cookies. After a quick tour of the house, we settled in the living room for our slumber party, blankets spread out and snacks piled high. Emily had brought a collection of spooky VHS tapes, which we devoured with wide eyes and nervous giggles. When the last movie ended, our nerves were frayed, but none of us felt tired. That's when Stephanie revealed her secret weapon, a glow-in-the-dark Ouija board she had borrowed from her older brother. "Let's try it," Emily urged, her excitement contagious. I hesitated, my gut screaming in protest. "I don't think we should mess with that. What if it actually works?" Stephanie rolled her eyes. "It's just a game. Nothing will happen." Against my better judgment, I gave in. We lit candles, turned off the lights, and sat around the board. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows on the walls as Stephanie explained the rules. I asked the first question, my voice trembling. "Are there any spirits here with us tonight?" We waited, holding our breath, fingers lightly resting on the planchette. The silence was heavy, broken only by the distant hum of the refrigerator. Nothing happened. "See? It's just a toy," Stephanie said, laughing as she moved the planchette to goodbye. Relieved, we blew out the candles and turned on the lights. But the unease lingered. To shake off the tension, we decided to play hide-and-seek. I was it, counting loudly while Emily and Stephanie scurried away. Finding Emily was easy. She was giggling behind the shower curtain in the bathroom. Together, we searched for Stephanie, eventually noticing that the door to my dad's office, always locked, was slightly ajar. "Stephanie, you can't hide in there!" I called out, stepping into the dimly lit room. There was no response. As I scanned the room, something darted behind the office chair. My heart pounded as I approached. "Stephanie?" I whispered. A chill crawled down my spine when a raspy voice behind me answered, "No." I froze. The room felt suffocating, the air heavy and cold. Without looking back, I bolted out of the room, screaming. Emily and Stephanie rushed to my side, their faces pale with confusion. I stammered out what had happened, but they didn't believe me. My dad stormed out of his room, annoyed by the commotion, and dismissed my fears as an overactive imagination fueled by scary movies. Later that night, as my friends dozed off, I lay awake, my mind replaying the chilling moment in the office. Just as I began to drift off, faint whispering filled the room. It came from everywhere and nowhere at once. I sat up, wide-eyed, scanning the darkness. The whispering grew louder, more insistent. My gaze shifted to the hallway, where the office door creaked open on its own. A pale, bony hand reached out, its fingers curling around the doorframe. My breath caught as the hand vanished back into the shadows. Against my will, my feet carried me closer to the door. A chilling breeze brushed against my neck. Slowly, I turned around, expecting to see nothing. But when I faced the office again, she was there. A woman stood in the doorway, her body emaciated and her movements unnatural, like a marionette controlled by invisible strings. Her head tilted at an impossible angle, and worst of all, she had no face. She lunged toward me, her jerky steps closing the distance in seconds. I screamed, running back to the living room, where my parents and friends found me trembling and sobbing. They didn't believe me. My dad chalked it up to nightmares, and my friends teased me the next morning. But I knew what I had seen. We never used the Ouija board again, and I refused to let it back into our house. Whatever we had done that night had opened a door, and something evil had stepped through. Even now, I still hear whispers in the dark. If you're ever tempted to try a Ouija board, take my advice. Don't. You might not be able to close the door to what you let in.